So overseas, the Democratic Republic of Congo has finally elected a new president. Opposition leader Felix Tshisekedi has surprisingly won the race in a long delayed and much contested election. He'll replace Joseph Kabila, who's ruled the DRC for 18 years.
Now, this could be the country's first ever peaceful transition of power, but there's already growing outrage over what critics are calling fraudulent results. So for more on this, let's bring in CBS News foreign correspondent Debora Patta. She's joining us now from Johannesburg, South Africa. Deborah, what's the latest on the election result, and why is there already so much controversy?
Well, that whatever the result in such a country as the DRC, which is so polarized, whatever the result, it was always going to be a contentious and controversial one. As you mentioned, there has never been a peaceful transition to power since Belgian rule ended in 1960, and the current outgoing president, Joseph Kabila, delayed this election by 2 years. He was clinging to power but was forced to call an election by regional leaders. He backed his successor, Emmanuel Shadari. He only got 4.4 million votes. Tshisekedi was declared the winner by the Congolese officials, but in fact the Catholic Church said Martin Fayulu, who got 6.4 million votes, compared to Tshisekedi's 7 million votes, he was the outright winner, they say. And Fayulu has contested this election, saying the result is electoral fraud. He will take it to the Constitutional Court. And there have been whispers that behind the scene, Kabila was involved in a power-sharing negotiation deal with Tshisekedi, and that's why he said nothing. He hasn't contested this final result because he believes that Kabila is more acceptable to him and perhaps a bit more malleable. So it remains to be seen. This could be the beginning of a historic era in the DRC if peace holds and finally the election results are accepted, or it could be a clever fix by Joseph Kabila.
So what do we know about Tshisekedi? And, presuming that there is a peaceful transition of power, what would this mean for the country?
Well, of course, the first thing is that there could be electoral violence, and U.S. troops are on standby to assist if needs be. So that is going to be the first task, is to control that. Tshisekedi's claim to fame, in fact, is actually from his father, Etienne Tshisekedi, who was a legendary opposition figure in politics in the DRC. He died in 2017, having fought tirelessly against corruption, which is rife in that country. And effectively, Tshisekedi inherited his father's party. He himself has no real reputation of political effectiveness. He hasn't really been tested in any position of power. So, in fact, nobody knows how he would be able to cope with the position of president. He has a tough task ahead of him. There is an Ebola outbreak in the east of the country, and not only is this the worst outbreak in the DRC, it's the 10th and the worst outbreak, it is also taking place in a war zone. There are attacks daily there, which makes it incredibly difficult to control this outbreak. And there are fears that this could spread. I think it's already claimed nearly 400 lives. Over 600 people have been infected. So he's going to have to deal with that as one of his first tasks. And it remains to be seen whether he has the intention or even the capacity to challenge Kabila's very powerful stronghold over the intelligence services, over security services, and key ministries in the country.
And Deborah, just highlight for our viewers, specifically here in the United States, who may be wondering how critical the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo, is to their lives. You've spent a lot of time there reporting on cobalt mining and how crucial that mineral is for the electronics we use every single day, including our iPhones and our other devices that power our lives. How significant is this election with relations to that?
Well, the DRC is a mineral resource-rich country. It has about half the world's supply of cobalt. As you said, it powers our electronic devices. It's been responsible for the boom in electronic car sales. And we visited that country investigating child labor in the cobalt industry. And what we saw was absolutely appalling. Children as young as 10, some even younger sometimes, assisting with the mining of cobalt in that country. Government talks talks very quickly about wanting to end it, says all the right things, but it continues unabated. But it's not just cobalt. The country also has gold, it has diamonds, it has copper. It should be the richest country in Africa, but in fact, its people remain the poorest, and that is because of poverty and mismanagement. A new president coming in will have to deal with corruption. And that will be a way to end the poverty, because if they can stop corruption, they can then start dealing with poverty. But he's also going to have to deal with violence, as we mentioned, the violence in the east of the country, and bring stability to the region, because that will stop the Ebola outbreak. They cannot contain it in the current circumstances because of that war. It will stop Ebola spreading to neighboring countries, so it stops it from becoming a regional issue and perhaps even a global issue. So it's important for the people of Congo, it's important for the region, and it's important for the world.
All right, Deborah, thank you so much.